Hello YouTube friends, I've got two more vintage ornaments that I made. I started out with wooden ornaments from the Dollar Tree. I painted them white with some chalk paint. And then I used the iron-on method to apply these musical napkins that I got off of Amazon. I'll put the link below. You just simply put Mod Podge on your ornaments and let it dry. And then once the Mod Podge has dried, you'll then take your napkin and you'll separate the plies. This particular napkin I have is 2 plies, so I just took the top layer of it with the printed side on it, and you just simply lay that down on top of your Mod Podged ornament. And then you'll just take that top layer and you'll apply it on your ornament and take your iron and just reactivate that Mod Podge. It just takes a few seconds to do that. And then you'll take your sandpaper and you'll just sandpaper it off. Now here I'm taking a tea bag and I'm giving it a little bit of a stain. And as you can see on the right there, I used a tea bag to stain that one. And the one on the left, I used some watered down coffee. And that gave it a slightly different look than the tea bag stained ornament. And here I am taking some black ink and going around the edges just to give it more of a vintage look and an antique look. You could also use some wax for this as well. And once you get that around the edges, it gives it a little more dimension. It looks something like this. Next, I'm taking my rub-on transfers that I got off of Amazon. I will put the link in the description below. And I have chosen a little girl and also a lady here. I imagine this might be the mother and daughter, or it might be the little girl grown up into a beautiful young lady. I just thought both of these were so vintage and so pretty. Now, once I get these adhered to the ornaments, I'm going to take some rhinestones and some glitter glaze, and I'm going to embellish these and make these look really, really pop out. Add some ribbon and such too. Now, there's two different types of decals that I use. These right here on the right are very, very thick. The ones I'm using today are kind of thin, and I learned when I was making my first vintage ornament that sometimes those on the left will show some of that napkin print through. So what I did was I took a white pen and outlined around the decal, and I'm going to take some white chalk paint and fill in with that just so the napkin print won't bleed through the decal itself. The chalk print takes just a few minutes to dry, so I went ahead and burnished on the decals using a popsicle stick. You can use a credit card or whatever you have on hand. And this is what it looks like once I have it on. Now, I'm embellishing these with some rhinestones. I'm using some glitter glaze. I'm using some old buttons that I had off some old blouses of mine. And I'm going to use some sheer ribbon from the Dollar Tree. These buttons are plastic, so you can easily snip off the back of them to make them lay a little bit flatter on the ornament. And you can see here I'm using one of my wire tools to just take the back off of it and get it ready to put on that ornament. And before I put the buttons on and the ribbon, I do use a clear gloss spray just to seal all of that ink in and the glitter glaze and all that. I wouldn't use Mod Podge over this if you use ink like I did. It would be okay if you use the wax, but I like to use a gloss clear spray to go over top of it. And once that sealant has dried and I have glued the buttons on, I'm now putting the ribbon on here. Like I said, this ribbon came from the Dollar Tree. And I've made a hanger out of it, and I've created 2 little bows to put on top of the ornament just to finish it off. And here are the finished ornaments. I had so much fun making these. I love this vintage look. I'm going to put these on my little tree this year. I just think they're adorable. They just remind me of my childhood and Christmas growing up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's such a beautiful look. And the little girl turned out well also. She's very pretty. I hope the camera will pick it up and that you could see the little rhinestones that I put on there and the glaze that I put around the ornament itself. And I think the button just sets it off with the ribbon. I just want to take time to thank each and every one of you for watching my little YouTube channel. It means the world to me. I appreciate each and every one of you so much, and I hope and pray that you and your families have a wonderful, wonderful week.